Hello and welcome back to RevScale YouTube channel. Fucking smash that fucking like button, smash that subscribe button. We're gonna lock in and figure out how to do the best, highest performing abandoned checkout flow. Not many people watch these videos, so I'm just gonna be as weird and unhinged as possible because I can. So anyway, if you want to learn from the best, I'm Max. I own RevScale email marketing agency. We help over 40 different types of brands with their email retention strategy. I'm going to show you how to create a really, really solid abandoned checkout flow. If you think about the 80-20 Pareto principle approach to email marketing, you want to set up a couple core flows. One of those core flows that's going to produce most of your money is the abandoned checkout. Okay, so we're going to go into the theory of abandoned checkout. We're going to show you how to actually set it up on Klaviyo. I'm going to show beginner use cases, advanced use cases. I'm going to walk through the data and reporting and how we can think about looking at an effective flow and how it can perform over time, how to improve it, all that good stuff. So just lock in and get ready because this is going to be the best video of all time on abandoned checkout flows. Okay, so if we go to this funnel map, right? We have the checkout abandoned being triggered, and then what happens? You have a 20-minute delay, okay? So someone goes and adds something to cart, then they go to checkout and they start getting their info entered. This gets triggered if they leave. Okay, so you want to ask them in that first email flow, did you forget? And then you want to talk about some on-brand messaging. In this case, it could be like on sustainability, if or core brand components, right? You can replace sustainability and clean, simple, and effective research-backed ingredients with core brand tenets. So what are the highest and best performing angles and mechanisms of conversion? You want to put those core benefits into that very first email because you're reminding them of why they are going to go forward and purchase, right? If not, hit them with a letter from the founder. And especially if you're a small company, tell them we're a heartfelt small company. We make our products from scratch. We make them in-house. We source these holistic ingredients by hand. We're a small growing brand. Please, please, please buy from us, support us, forget the big man, help us out, okay? That's the second email. You're creating emotional storytelling and you're getting people to buy because of a bigger reason besides the product itself. You're giving them a why. Okay. Third email, reiterate the benefits, emphasize any guarantees. This is your time to address any objections. Okay. So like, why do people not purchase usually? Is it too expensive? Is delivery too long? Is the product, the type of product, do they not need to buy it, on a certain time interval or what? I don't know what it is, but like, what are those objections, right? Competitor analysis, all that stuff. It should be laid out in this email. Do you have any guarantees on delivery, on money back, any of that stuff? Emphasize it, right? We're trying to erase objections in the abandoned checkout because they abandoned converting, on your branded product for a certain reason. And this is the chance to address that. Okay. Lastly, from a monetary angle, right? We went from a reminder to emotional storytelling, to like objection gathering. These are like core components of like converting someone in any type of sales situation, right? We're just doing it via copy and email transactionally, right? So the last thing you want to think about is saving them money, right? So like, is there any bundles or kits, quantity and save discounts, stuff like that? After, if you'd like, you don't have to do this, but you could consider upping the ante. Conditional trigger filter, meaning you add a conditional trigger and you say, hey, people who have not purchased ever, give them a discount. So maybe they had used a 10% opt-in pop-up welcome flow discount before. Now you're going to say, hey, you're so close to converting, buy from us, please. So like if they never used that welcome flow discount and they saw it, this is only for first-time purchasers. They're going to see this, right? So this is just an example of something you can do. You don't have to do it, right? Another example could be, this funnel map here, right? We have a new customer, simple reminder, checking out your products. You don't really need to worry about all this, but just look at this. We're thinking through new customer versus place order at least once, right? What is the difference between these two? Well, they may not know as much about the brand if they're a new customer, right? So we want to hit them with the best sellers, with the core brand tenets, with emotional storytelling, right? And then also a place order at least once is like they are very familiar with the brand, right? So we want to hit them with a different type of storytelling where they kind of are aware of the brand, and so we want to keep them going along that journey, right? You could also try abandoned checkouts by placed order value. if the cart value, not place order value, but if the cart value is say under 100, whatever your average AOV is, it could be under a certain AOV or over certain AOV. So say your average order value is 100. So most people fall into this bucket. You want to give them a simple abandoned checkout flow like the first one I mentioned. However, if they have an abandoned checkout that is over the average order value, maybe way over, maybe it's over 200, you may want to give them an extra discount, right? You may want to talk to these people different because they have more money, right? And like, what could that mean? That could mean emphasizing the bundles and discounting even more. That could be emphasizing the longevity of the products they're about to buy more so in bulk, right? If you're an apparel brand, maybe if they're buying a lot of different clothes, you show a lot of different models showing different, outfits, right? And also, it could mean a greater discount or a bundle discount. Buy 5 or more items and get X% off versus a blanket 20% off, like on the conditional trigger filter we showed before, right? So this is just kind of like giving you a basis, right? Because based off the customer journey, based off your revenue, scale, sales, SKU category, product category, you might want to do something a little bit different, right? But if you want to just do the base case setup, you know, no frills, just a couple of emails with these like this like core conversion ideology. Okay, how do we set it up? Go to flows in Klaviyo, create flow, type in abandon. You can just click this one. Let's see, that trigger checkout started is good. Okay, if you want to double check your metrics, go here, go to abandon, check, checkout started. Is this working? Yes, it is. If it's not, go and make sure the viewed product tracking is working. And then you need to go back, look up Klaviyo, abandon checkout, how to set up. You shouldn't really have any issues with this, right? This is abandoned cart. This is not abandoned checkout. Abandoned cart, you have to manually set up. Abandoned checkout, you don't, right? It should be automatic, right? Okay, so if we go back here, we go home, let's go flows. Let's create flow. Like I said, click abandon, type abandon cart reminder, create flow. It should already have a couple things ingrained into this flow that are necessary for the customer journey to basically make sense, right? So one thing is if someone has already placed an order while they're in this flow, you don't want them to see any more emails, right? So you have these profile filters, place order 0 times, has not been in the flow the last 7 days. Another thing you could do is they have an abandoned checkout, so if you add that in, like we have it here, checkout starts 0 times since starting this flow. You don't want someone to receive like multiple abandoned checkout emails, right? So that could be really helpful as well. Go back to Klaviyo. And you just fill in your data, right? You have these like templates and properties where they use dynamic blocks. So any product that is abandoned. Let's go. Sorry, let's go back to editing. Let's go to edit. Kind of trying to go fast here, right? See this? This is abandoned block. Preview and test, preview event info. This guy just abandoned. Boom. See this? This is dynamic. It changes if there's different products. This client only has one store, right? So very simple, and just fill out the content of the email, right? Add in your design, add in your special messaging, add in your benefit blocks, add in different categories if you want, all that good stuff. There's no really technical walkthrough on this. It's so simple. Just look up how to set it up, and then you go from there, right? But if you want to do a little bit more like we do, right? Checkout started, then you have the 20 minutes. There's that first email. Wait 20 hours, then 2 days, then 1 day. Here's that conditional split I was talking about. Has ordered 0 product over all time? Is it yes? If it's yes, they've never bought a product, let's up the ante, right? We're getting a conversion value there. If it's no, special offer inside, right? I don't even think we're giving them anything, right? But yeah, you just keep going down the line there, and we've upped the ante, I think, multiple times, right? So interesting message. So we went up to 30% off, right? And if you look at this first email, let's go actually even the second here. Our founder thanks you. So this is that emotional storytelling I was talking about. This is the owner of Tabs. Want to send you a quick letter to express our sincere thanks for taking the time to consider our brand. We're a small business that genuinely cares about creating special moments for you and the person you love most. We save all the great items we add to the cart, so when you're ready to buy, simply complete and purchase below, right? I'm not going to show you the technical how of like adding discount codes on Shopify, showing how to give this, percent discount. These are all things you can very simply look up, and I can also, I can also link it, right? Like, how hard is it to go to Shopify and add the code BANG20 and then put 20% off and then add it here, right? Or you can do a dynamic or unique discount code as well if you want, if it becomes a problem with people uploading stuff. But kind of just rambling, right? So I think I showed you kind of like a beginner on the the funnel map, but this is kind of more of like an advanced use case. But you can see it's kind of a beginner in that first three. The first 1, 2, 3, it's just very simple, right? You could also do a band checkout SMS as well. And it's the same triggers. Band checkout, you do it on Klaviyo, just add in SMS, Klaviyo flow. This is all very simple stuff, right? So if we even go to tabs, I just want to show you all of them. So we go to tabs, flows, event and checkout, right? That first one, second one, third, fourth, 20% off of Annie to 30, right? And so if we look at the data, right, a lot of people might argue that revenue per recipient will drop, right, if you add too many emails. So the average RPR is, it's very dependent, right? If we go to overview and we look at the average RPR for flows in general, like over all time, let me refresh this page. This is just showing a monthly overview of all the data for this particular client. Give it just 2 seconds to load here. I'm going to pause while it loads. Okay, if you look at the revenue per recipient, meaning every time a recipient receives an email and it's counted, it will show up as like RPR, right? So like revenue per recipient means anytime anyone interacts with the email and then they convert off it, there's a revenue attached to it, right? And so like the higher amount of recipients, the lower amount of revenue is going to be in revenue per recipient. The average revenue per recipient is, let's call it about 30 cents over time, and sometimes it dips, right? But I would say overall, it's like around 20 to 30 cents. And if we look at this particular flow, the abandoned checkout, people may argue if you do too many abandoned checkout flows, RPR will drop, right? You'll make less money. But if we look at RPR here across these 6 to 8 emails, it's in line with the average RPR of all the flows, right? It's producing a lot of money. It's one of the highest producing flows for the client, right? In October alone, it produced $27,000. At peak time going into Valentine's Day, produced 55,000, right? If we look at them individually as well, and we go to RPR, right, it starts off really high. And like, yes, we're going to see a drop into that fourth one, but like we start adding the discounts, right? There isn't even that noticeable of a drop, honestly. So that's kind of some analysis. Okay, so we went over the theory of abandoned checkout, why we're doing abandoned checkout, the step-by-step guide of how to think about the journey and customer journey of abandoned checkout. We looked at some beginner use cases, some advanced use cases as far as separating by cart value, separating by first time versus recurring buyers, and then how to actually create the flow in Klaviyo, and then looking at an example of a client where we implemented this flow on a more advanced use case, showing kind of like the beginner stage into the more advanced conditional trigger filters out with discounts. I showed you the data as well and why it makes sense to add discounts, and that you're not really reducing RPR or reducing the value of the email strategy when you add multiple flows. Some people may argue you should only do 2, 3, 4 flows, but you could do more, right? And just don't do too many, right? Depends on the brand, but basically that's it. Smash that subscribe button. I'm going to be adding over 100 tutorial videos with the same type of style, right? Use case, how to, beginner versus advanced, examples, and just talking all things retention. I'm Max, the owner of email marketing agency RevScale. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.